What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Blue River Bow Hunting, episode 56. I'm Brett Morse, your host. Got your favorite co-host in here again, Adam Bonwitz, a.k.a. The Neighbor. We've been working on this one since about September, trying to get old Randy Kincaid in here, but we got Randy Kincaid. Got a very cool story of a deer he killed a couple years ago that's actually on the wall behind us. We'll get to that here in a little bit, but what's up, everybody? What are y'all doing tonight besides drinking beer with me?
I'm just excited to see Randy show up.
yeah, this is not my typical MO here is not this. But.
Well, for anybody that doesn't know you, introduce yourself a little bit, Randy.
Well, I'm Randy Kincaid. I've got a wife and 2 kids, Devin and Ty, and work at Draper's. I'm a welder there. And, I coach football at Nicetown. Just a normal, average working guy like everybody else,
I think that's what we like on this show, is just a typical blue-collar guy that likes to go out and shoot big whitetails, and you got a pretty big one sitting back there on the wall. How did you get started in hunting in the outdoors?
Well, a lot of that goes back to my grandpa, I guess. He's the one that's kind of always, when I was younger, he took me fishing, and then the fishing kind of turned into hunting, and he's always been a big outdoors person, and I still remember those nights and, standing on night at Grandma and Grandpa's and getting up and going hunting the next morning or going fishing the next morning. And he's kind of the one that's always introduced me to all of this. And so now he's gotten a little bit older. So now it's kind of the roles have changed a little bit.
That's what I was saying. It came full circle.
I take him now, right? Like I got to take him. He can't get around as well, but I still take him and trying to, I guess, pay it forward, I guess, a little bit.
Absolutely. And then your boys, they're going to get into hunting too?
No, actually, they're not. They're more into the sports. They're all about the sports and stuff like that. The hunting and stuff hasn't appealed to them yet, but we take them. My youngest, I think, has a little more drive for it, but I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I was that way when I was their age. I was all into sports, and I didn't really get big into hunting until I was 13, 14 years old. So I know things can change, and hopefully they follow your footsteps on something like that. Hunting Indiana, I've had a lot of people on this year from the Hoosier State talking their tips and tactics, and I kind of want to pick your brain a little bit on some of this. But I know this is kind of a generic question, but what does deer hunting in Indiana mean to you?
Well, a lot of headaches. You know what I mean? We go to Kentucky and hunt, back in September and stuff like that, and you see the terrain and stuff that they have down there, and then you come home and you see the terrain that we're hunting, use patchwoods, on a couple of your guys' podcasts, I've heard, talk about your new places, and, there's just the patchwoods here and the patchwoods here, and that's a lot of what you see here, and it makes hunting hard.
It does.
Here in Indiana, or especially Henry County, I guess, because you don't really just have deer that just live here. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they might be in this patch woods today. They might be on that patch woods tomorrow. They might be in this fence row. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's difficult. I love the challenge. I just love being out there. It's just quiet. It's just time to get away and take in what nature has to offer, Yeah.
I think one of the toughest things about Indiana, too, is that being patched woods, every one of the patch woods are hunted. So it makes these deer go nocturnal a lot earlier than most places because they get so much pressure, and they just go nocturnal quicker, I think.
Hide out in standing corn a lot. And just like we were talking the other day when we went shed hunting, we're sitting in this one particular corner close to kind of where we were setting a stand at, and it's like, hey man, they come from here, they went clear, and you look and you just see the distance of a woods. It's like he went all the way down that fence row and hit that woods. And they did, because they sent pictures of the buck that he killed, probably a mile and a half, 2 miles from where he killed it.
That's funny you say that, because a buddy of mine, Aaron, me and him got a buck on trail camera here just this last month that is almost identical. But we're 2 miles apart, right? But that deer, you put them side by side, looks identically the same. And I'll get a picture of him for a couple of days, and then I won't get a picture of him, and sure enough, he's getting a picture of that deer. So we're trying to talk ourselves out of that not being the same deer. But at the other hand, he sends me the picture, and I send him a picture, and it's like, Dude, that's got to be.
That's
you
it.
know what I mean? So
Now, is this the good one?
The one you've
Yeah.
been sending in the group chat?
Yep. So we're still telling each other, no, not this time of year. They're not gonna travel that far this time of year. You know what I mean? Like that's just not that's not kind of what they do. But we're like, dude, that looks the same. It looks the same.
It would make sense if he was getting him 3 days after you, and then you didn't get him again.
No, it's like the
he's
next
going
day
home,
or two. Yeah,
but he's not. He's still traveling.
No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, what do you think? Since you guys go down to Kentucky every year, you like Indiana better or Kentucky better? Deer hunting wise?
That's not a question. I like Kentucky better. Yeah, because when you're sitting in Kentucky, it's like I don't know where they're coming from.
Right.
Like you get out here, you don't know if they're coming from north, east, south, west. So you don't worry about the wind. You don't because you have no idea where they're coming from. You're hunting thousands of acres of timber and rolling hills and just thousands and thousands of acres of it. Here, you're lucky to get a 50-acre woods.
Yeah. So as far as like the public versus private thing, Kentucky you do all public. Mm-hmm. Indiana, is it all private that you have?
Yeah.
And how did you come into some of these properties? Just something that you kind of got passed down to? You know them, relatives?
Well, at the beginning of my hunting career, I guess I got hunted with Grandpa. Mm-hmm. Would be how I got those permissions to hunt those places. But as you get older and people sell things or other people, and we lost a couple places, and then I started helping out a buddy of mine who's a real good buddy of mine, and they buy a lot of property, and I do work for them, and so kind of in a little bit of return, then I get to hunt all their places that they have to offer, and a couple of them just happen to be a really good place, So
I mean,
just a couple of the best places in this county,
right? Well, I wasn't going to throw all that out there because I didn't know exactly who was going to be listening to this. I didn't want to get too deep in that. I asked you a second ago, kind of traditions. What's a big tradition that you have, maybe with your family or something, when it comes to deer season?
I guess I don't know. I guess we used to get up every opening morning and go eat dinner or eat breakfast at Grandma's.
That's cool.
That was the tradition. Is opening morning gun. We get up, and Grandma would have scrambled eggs and bacon already. Me and Grandpa would eat, and
Tim be there too.
And my cousin Tim and Jeff and all them would come over and eat. And,
that's super
cool. Or we'd go, like the next day we'd even go up to the old truck stop there that was at 70, and
that's kind of what my tradition is when I talk about that. Me and my dad and uncle, we used to go to the truck stop on 70 breakfast on opening morning, and everybody was there, all decked out in the Orange Army, and everybody hooting and hollering about going to shoot something. It was always pretty cool.
People call it the truck stop. I call it the shit stop.
Coming from you, we understand.
And just like that opening morning, just laying out all your clothes. When I was a kid, for sure, I was laying out everything.
Couldn't sleep.
Orange hat, tossing turtles like Christmas, having it all laid out, have your gun laid out, ready to go, just all those things. Maybe don't do that now.
Right.
But hunting Kentucky's that way because when you're little, there wasn't trail cameras, so you didn't know mindset when you were little.
Yeah, and you may not have been out there yet.
Kentucky's the same way. They ain't a camera out there, and you don't know what's going to show up. So your mind's got, it could be that coming by, it could be something like that, but here, I mean, you got trail cameras. Sometimes it'll depress you because you ain't getting the one you want on camera, or you do, then someone killed it, and you're like, that's the only one I had on camera we're shooting. So you beat yourself up over it.
And minute being opening day, and like we talked about, all these little bunches of woods all over the place. Everybody's running deer all day long. You could sit there all day long and see.
It used to be crazy like that.
Oh,
it hasn't been lately, though.
No, it hasn't been. And I haven't spent the last couple opening days over where I normally hunt because it's like World War III. You hear, after you're done hunting, I always call it driving the block. Just out and
stop at the locker.
I've done that.
But every time I'm usually the first one, I'm like, damn, they're still out. Like, I've gotten better over the years, but like it was 11 o'clock and I'm saying, damn, they're still out. But now I stay. But man, when I was younger, it was easy for me to get out of the woods.
We was hunting one opening morning together, and I text you at like 7:45 or 8 o'clock. He's like, got one. You're like, what? I was like, yeah, got one.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, well, I'm going to sit a little longer. I'm like, well, I need some help.
I had deer underneath me. I went to his place, and I had deer underneath me. I'm like, gosh, all right, be there in a minute.
Then we just drove around for a while,
Yep. You didn't hunt opening day this past year, did you?
Yeah, I had to. If I had to, what I do. I'm sure I went with the boys or somebody.
Yeah, I think you went with Dylan.
How Dylan
Yeah,
already
they
killed
were
Oh
one.
no, Dylan already killed one.
I think you slept
Maybe you
in.
took Caden.
I may have slept in because no one wanted to go.
You slept in, and then you went and got Aaron. Aaron sat in your back box blind.
Yeah, I took him. Was it raining? No, it wasn't raining, was it?
No, it was snowing.
Yeah.
It was snowing. Yeah,
That's
covered the
when
ground.
Ryan
Oh, that's
killed
why
him.
I was excited because I killed mine just a few days before, and I was like,
The day
right
before.
Yeah.
right before the
Yeah.
cold front, the best day to kill one, so you can sleep in and not have to freeze the next morning.
You killed literally the day before
Yep.
opening day, that Friday, because you
Because I killed mine on the 11th.
and then Ryan killed on the
Yep.
12th. That was an
Yep.
unbelievable week for me, man. That was awesome. When it comes to these properties, what are you doing scouting wise? How are you scouting the multiple properties that you have?
Well, I guess I'd really just hunt about two, and one of them's just a field, right? Like one of them is just a field, and that's really all it is. There's no really scouting, nothing like that. I put my cameras up just like everybody else does anymore. But the other one, I guess it's just right in the location, right? It's just in the right location. It's in the center of everything,
That's
and
the
it's
heart.
probably, it's probably a mile long, but it's probably only 100 yards wide. You know, so it's not really a scouting thing because I get there, I get in the middle and
See what happens.
sit there and hunt a fence row in the ridge and sit there and wait, you know. But honestly, I won't even really go in there until October 25th, 6th, 7th, something
Yeah.
like
That
that.
was
I don't even
another-
go in there. Till
That's
then.
something that I did in the years past where I've gotten way better, where I'd only go a few times if the weather was right, early October. Then Brett's the cameraman saying, "Let's go, let's get
Hell
some
yeah, I
video."
wanna go.
So I think last year I hunted way too much. I didn't kill none, but we hunted a lot early, and
We kind of rotated it though. It's not like we hunted
Yeah,
one
yeah.
place and put so much
No.
pressure on it. We rotated.
we
it.
bounced it around for sure. But you just love something so much, when you know you can go do it. It's just hard to restrict yourself from doing it because you almost feel like you're wasting time a lot of it.
And you don't know what you're gonna see. You know what I mean? It's like, well, that big boy just came by that camera. He could have went by our stand an hour ago. You don't know. You never know. Like that day we saw that big one over there by the truck stop. We didn't ever known that
Oh, yeah.
deer exists unless we'd been sitting there like we was and almost pulled it off. You know what I mean?
And the good thing about that spot too is that everybody around me is kind of all on the same page.
Yeah.
Where we're not just
That's how it
shooting
is in my
stuff and
Hancock
shooting
place.
stuff. You know, I don't really communicate with them that much, but I know all of them, and I know that they're there to hunt big
Big.
bucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're hunting mature deer also. So that's definitely a plus. That way, if that basket 8 comes by, and he goes across
He's
the fence.
safe.
I'm not worried.
You're not worried
You know
about
what I mean?
somebody-
Now somebody might take the boy.
Now,
or
if he goes by
something. Yeah.
Grandpa, he's worried.
Oh yeah, Grandpa goes. He did, but or if somebody takes their kid, or if I take my kid, that we all know that
It's
good
gonna
chance
happen.
it's gonna get
Oh,
blasted.
for
You know,
sure.
and that's good. That's great. But for the most part, like all the guys and stuff,
That
we
whole
all.
area. That's why it's so good. I mean, not only you killed that, but in the years past, there's
Oh yeah, there's
some big ones
there
killed.
was the year before that. I was hunting the one that
Yeah.
Jesse Posey killed there that year. It was him and another one, and I was on that thing. I was on that thing all. You know what I mean? Like me and him had pictures, and me and that buck were fighting. I felt like
I've been in those
I was on
battles
my
before.
way to my stand one day at 3:30, getting off of work, and got a picture of him. It's like missed him by 30 minutes. So there's some big deer right there. And
So like he said a second ago, not hunting as much in October or the beginning of October and really focusing. And I feel like you even said it in like the group chats and stuff. You're like, I'm not hunting yet. You guys just go right in the head. Is it like? Is there it gets to a certain point and it's just like, okay, it's time, or do you wait for a buck to daylight, or what is it that's your green light to? All right, it's time.
well,
When the crops are out,
That's
yeah,
true.
that helps a lot too. Because
Yeah.
usually I'm helping in the fields or coaching football, so
Right.
that takes up a lot of the time. But yeah, no, I guess I won't really go in there until I get a mature buck on camera. I have enough cameras out there that if I get a mature one and I see him and get a pattern to him, then I'll start getting after it. But most of the time, even down there, it's not like they live there. They just travel through there. You know what I mean? That's it's just an I-70, so to
Right.
speak. And that don't really come until about the 25th, till opening weekend of gun, and then that place kind of falls out a little bit again. So those 3 weeks I'll definitely hunt it no matter what. But I hunted a couple years ago because I did early October because I was getting a nice buck on camera, and never could get with him. But I did hunt then just because I did have a mature buck around. But until then, I'll stay out of there.
And I've heard you mess with him before in his garage. You're like, why shoot 130s when I can, I'm not shooting 130s, I'm not shooting 150s. I'm aiming for big boys. Like, what's it got to come down to for you to choose a kind of a deer to go after? Is it maturity, antler size? Like, what is it that's like, all right, you're getting paid?
Yeah, no, maturity's out the door. I mean, if that's a 160s, I don't care if it's 2 or 1, or 6, It don't make no difference. And people laugh, like, they're 160 is going to be a 3-year-old. Well, that's not true around here.
No, it's not.
That's not true. Like, we're grain fed around here,
Absolutely.
And we grow them big, we do.
Sure.
We got all the food, we got all the water they could possibly want. And the genetics obviously are really good, and there might be a 160-inch,
Well, I remember
2-year-old.
Irwin's down the road killed one a while back. I mean, it's been a few years, but I think they aged it, and it was only a 2.5-year-old, and everybody, I think it was thinking like 24 inches wide or something that he killed.
Gee.
Well, I was talking to Tony Wright, when I was getting that one scored, the one that scored like 201 this year, got killed up there by the prison or whatever. Yep. That buck only weighed 150 pounds.
Wow.
I mean,
I don't think I've seen a picture. Is that the one we saw in the locker that day?
It could have been.
And he actually, that
like
guy brought him over
gnarly.
that day. They was getting scored, and he's like, yeah, he only weighed 150 pounds.
Wow.
I mean, he was tiny, but he scored 201.
And he was killed by the prison?
That's a perfect set. Yeah, it's around that area,
Oh, okay.
around Wilbur Wright.
I'm going to say Wilbur Wright,
Yeah.
it's surprisingly that a genetics can get something like that around there.
It happens every year. Every year there's a good one to get up there. Every year.
Yep.
That's a perfect example. That thing. Who knows how old or how young he was, but it wouldn't matter to me.
Yeah, absolutely
Body
not.
says he's a 2.
So
I'm gonna drop him.
So it's got to be at least.
My rangefinder says he's 20.
Yeah, right.
So since you got the big one under the super giant under your belt, does it have to be something similar? Are you going for Club 200, or is it? You got to be like a 150 at least.
Yeah. And people probably think I'm crazy and
don't
probably
think
don't
you're
believe
crazy.
me, but that's the truth. The 130s, 140s,
You ain't shooting
I'm not shooting it. I mean, all my buddies can vouch for me that that's not going to happen. Now, it'll happen in Kentucky, but not up here.
130s and below in Kentucky.
Yeah. So no, I won't. It'll have to be 150s plus, and I think that's a good possibility for where I'm hunting.
I think it's great that you set your goals that high. I mean, it's like
It's a realistic goal at that location. It's a realistic goal.
Oh, I
guess
understand
whenever
completely.
people, I guess I want if Adam texts people and says Randy got one, everybody's like, holy crap,
Right.
how big is it?
Yeah.
There's people like that around here. You know what I mean? Like you hear, if you hear
Oh,
Jesse
yeah.
killed one, you're like, holy crap, how big is that? And you hear,
he's gonna
Turpin
take
killed
a
one, and you're
Turpin
like,
killed one.
holy crap, how big is that one? Or
Right.
Billy Gardner, or
Well, if
things of
Turpin
that
kills
nature.
one, my first thought it's a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
Like he is a guy that kills them
Yeah,
by maturity.
yeah.
Maturity.
I
He's
think-
one of the few people around here that does go
I
by
think you're
maturity.
right. I don't know that for facts. I don't really talk to him,
Yeah.
but I think you're 100% right on about that. Now, my grandpa, it's big enough to eat. He's dropping it.
That's
He
okay
probably,
too.
he probably would have passed that one that scored 200 because he's only 150 pounds. He's like, that would have filled up my freezer.
I brought that one over to look at and stuff. He's like, well, that one ain't going to be no good eating. He's too old, something like that.
What about the trail cams that you do use in those transition fields and stuff? Where exactly are you putting these trail cameras? Just on the field edge?
A couple of them are on field edges, and then I got a crossing section that I put one in that's kind of always gotten a lot of my big bucks. That it's just kind of a 4-way stop, I guess you'd say. And then another one that it comes out and it comes down to a pinch point to a ridge and goes out to the road. And I always have one set up there, and actually that's the camera where I actually got pictures of that one the morning and the night before.
Now, you this year changed up your cameras and really liked them. You went to a different cell cam.
Yep.
What was the brand of those?
Uh,
Put him on the
Moultrie?
spot? No.
No, it was no,
Reconics?
No, it was
Bruce would tell me, hold on, I got the app on my phone. Tacticam.
Tacticam reveals.
Yeah,
is what you had,
Tacticam. Yep. It was on. I was right there. I could see it, but I couldn't. But
Birch must
can
not
see
be
the
listening live right now because he would have already messaged.
We could have set that up on here. That's something we could have on here.
I was using spy points, and I don't know if you guys know Gerald Swindle, the fisherman, bass fisherman, or whatever. And he's like, take all your spy points and throw them damn things in the trash.
Oh, man.
They're the worst cameras ever. And I was thinking the same thing already, you know. And then my buddy Birch, you know, he's like, dude, these are the ones you need to get. And Birch knows everything
Birch usually
on the
puts
best
you on
of
the
the
right
best.
stuff.
You know?
I just like the picture, like, I'm not going to lie. I have 2 spy points, and when I get it, sometimes it's like, damn, I wish that was a better picture. The ones that you guys got on those, like the ones he was sending over the summer, Birch was, whatever, up there in Delaware County in a field somewhere, they were so vivid. Like the pictures that...
Real bright.
Yeah, it was just so clear.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, damn.
But those trail cameras, I think, are 100 times better. And thanks to Birch, because I just texted in our group chat. I'm like, Birch, what cameras do I need?
Right.
And he's like, this one, sent me the link and everything, you know. And now I think I got like 7 of them or something stupid, you know.
They're nice.
So we know what Birch does when he gets home from work. He just researches shit because there's no way he's doing anything else.
Yeah. Yep.
He always lands on the hot spot for sure.
Yeah,
That's why he's on pro staff now, you know.
true that.
What about stand locations on this property? How are you doing stand locations? I know you're kind of a big blind guy, or was this year.
That's because it was snowing and raining.
No, that's true too.
And cold.
Well, what about stand locations? How are you setting these stand locations?
Well, normally in that spot, I only hunt 2 spots. I don't. There's only 2 places I hunt in the whole place. The one's at that intersection, that cross, you know, whatever, and then the other one's out in a just a field with the fence row and stuff in it, and it's actually in a power tower, you know. And I sit inside the power tower.
That's awesome.
It's got all the weeds.
It's already made up ground blind for him. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I miss
chair
it.
and
I
sit in
miss
there.
hunting fence rows, man. That's what I did growing up my whole life, and cutting my teeth on deer hunting was hunting fence rows. I loved it.
Yeah.
And you know, like when I first met him, started hunting with him and hunting bigger woods, I was like, I'm fucking lost, bud, because I'm usually just hunting edges of these fields in between 2 sets of woods, basically, you know. And it's like, man, and I'm starting to get the hang of it more, of hunting some of these big woods, especially like going with you guys to Kentucky. I was super lost. I was just following around pretty much. You know. Of course, that's what a
And
cameraman's
what's
going to
crazy,
do. but-
Kentucky, you'd be like, why are we sitting here? And then bam, deer's on you. Like, we're not far from the road on some of those places.
That's what happened that first morning there.
Kentucky, it's more like just find the right point or the right draw or, you know, ravine or something, you know what I mean? Like you be sitting on this ridge and then, okay, you've seen 3 on that ridge the next morning or that morning, so you get down and go over there and sit in that ridge that afternoon, you know?
Right.
Find that hot ridge in Kentucky and you're on to something.
What's something you think maybe you screwed up early on hunting that you really hone in on now?
Hunting too much.
Hunting too much?
Yeah, no doubt. Pressuring things too
Pressuring
much. Just over hunting things, not hunting the right conditions, you know. And I don't get into the barometric pressure and all that. I don't get in that. I will hunt the wind a little bit until the first 2 weeks of November come, and then I throw all that away. I'm going. You know what I mean? Like they only got a few days of good prime time. And
so you're not a big scent control kind of guy. You're just like, hey, I'm gonna hunt here. It's time to be here. Whether well, don't matter what's going on.
Yeah, and it's bit me a couple of times. I've been winded for sure, but then there's also times where I wouldn't have hunted it because on that wind, but they've came in from the other way, and you know it's worked out.
Absolutely. Do a little bit of gear talk. What kind of bow you rocking around with?
I got me a brand new.
You need me to ask Birch.
I got
It was a
was
PSP,
hunting.
wasn't it?
Yeah, I had a Bowtech for a long time, and I got 2 years ago. The wife and kids got me a PSC.
Yep. I remember seeing it down in Kentucky. Nice bow.
Yep.
Hey, now that I'm thinking about it, what'd you do with your old one?
I still got it. It's in the
Let
case.
me know, because I know somebody needs one.
All right.
He's 15 and gets on my nerves. But
Okay. Hey, you didn't drive over this one too, did you?
no.
Okay.
Is there a mute on here?
If there is, I'm not showing you where it's at. Well, what about what kind of stands do you use when you do hunt out of a stand? Just your climber?
Yep, I use my climber on everything. I don't have any other stands. Just my climber and my blinds.
Okay.
And the blinds are just usually for whenever I take the boys, and
Or
if it's raining and snowing like it was on opening day, I was sitting in the blind.
It looked like a nice blind. It's like the 360. You can see through the fabric. It looked really nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Now, where'd you purchase that at? Was that?
I didn't. I got that for Christmas. My mom actually bought me that for my Christmas present.
Does she forget I'm like should be the stepson or something? Like, come on, Mom. Where you at?
Yeah.
Do you turkey hunt at all?
I don't.
You don't?
I
I feel
don't.
like that'd be like the perfect turkey hunting blind.
Man, today I did see. I
If
told
you guys need to borrow it, you're more than welcome to it anytime.
Don't tell us that.
I don't care.
Good thing because we already grabbed it.
Go check the
I
bar.
mean, I like the double bull that I have, but I feel like that would be like the perfect turkey hunting blind. Because you wouldn't really worry about the windows. I mean, if you're bow hunting out of it, you're going to have to open that window up a little bit. But gun, you can just sliver it through there, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
No, I seen. I'd say 15 or so over by the locker. We're coming out of Bub King's today. Turkeys.
Uh-huh.
I seen them today on my way home. Then I had to go to the middle school to get Caden, and then I seen another 10 or so over by the golf course, Royal Highlands. And I was like, dang,
They're
I haven't
cruising.
seen that many at one time. Usually I see a flock every once in a while, but I seen 2 different flocks today, and I was pretty surprised.
They just hug that river, man. I've seen them, like you said, all the way up through there by the golf course,
Yep.
and I've seen them the opposite direction. I've seen them just shy of Carthage off of the river
Yeah.
in some fields.
We
right
seen them there
along-
the other day.
Yeah. Yep. I'm ready for turkey season so bad. What about clothing? Is there any kind of clothing brands or anything like that you like, or is it just you throw it together and what works works?
Yeah, I don't. Usually whatever's on sale. I try to buy the nicest stuff you can on sale.
And he will not go to the woods without a gator.
No.
Always has a gator.
The gator's like, well, matter of fact, my gator is right now in my gun safe. Like that is the one piece of hunting
If the house
material
burns down, this
I
thing ain't
cannot
getting
lose.
burnt.
I cannot lose that gator. Like that gator
You
is
might
like
give me one of them beers.
it's like your comfort zone, you know.
Right, yeah, I get it.
I can't not.
I like to get a bad boy buggy or an electric golf cart or something to tote around. I think it'd be pretty cool, especially I don't know if you can't really take that stuff to public land, but
No.
some of that stuff would be nice, especially dragging one out of there.
Dude, I'm 10 pounds away from sneaking getting one.
Let's get it. Let's go half. I'll get
And
one.
I mean, right as far as I can, that's where I'm putting a stand.
We'll drive the Prius back there, throw it on top. So we're gonna get into a little bit of probably long-winded story time, but let's hear your 2022 season as a whole, how it started, how it went, how it played out.
This year was terrible. You know, I didn't have one shooter buck on camera. I didn't have many pictures of deer at all. When I went and hunted, I didn't even see much. You know what I mean? Like this was definitely by far the worst season I've ever had.
That was my year prior to
You know,
when you killed your big one.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That was a tough year.
And like I said, I never got a shooter on camera or anything until January. Now I did see, now getting a picture of this, I did see that deer opening morning, but he was 600 yards away and he couldn't get across the river fast enough. You know what I mean? He couldn't get back across.
Just on the
Yeah,
road.
he was here and he didn't like it, and then he was back. You know what I mean? And now seeing this and seeing the picture, seeing that was him.
That was him.
But that was the only encounter I ever had with anything, and like I said, it was, looking through the binoculars, going, "Holy cow!" You know.
No way this can be 2 years in a row.
Yeah, right.
180s.
Right.
Do you think any of that has to do with kind of the little bit of a dip in deer population in the area?
Well, I think the EHD and stuff is definitely our area got hammered again this year. I think we got
It did. It
hammered
definitely
like 2
did.
years ago. So it's. You can ask all the guys around that hunt around me that.
I don't
It
even
was-
hunt Henry County besides
it was
just
crazy
the next
bad around
county
here.
mile or county road down here, and I've noticed it just living here compared to because I lived just a mile down the road before we moved up here, but I used to see deer, I mean, nonstop.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, yeah, we see some every once in a while. We had 4 across the road last night just watching us sit there and drink beer.
Yeah.
Didn't have a
Oh.
care in the world. We could have
Hey.
we could have shot one.
45 yards, and we're sitting there talking, walking up, looking at them, walking back in the garage. They didn't care at all.
I mean, we was cutting beans and found 2 dead this year in the bean field.
Yeah.
Then I know countless people that found tons, but it was so dry this year. We had a huge drought. That's obviously not a that's a big factor in it, and it's
found-
really hurting. I think it's going to take 3 or 4 years for it to recover now for sure.
So, I do think this year's their bag limit was the
two, right?
the DNR started listening.
One
have
one
to.
doe and 1 buck was all you could kill this year.
And, I think it was in Henry County.
Yeah,
I think most counties were 1 or 2.
yeah.
In the
Two
years
was the
past,
highest, I
years
think.
past it was 6 or so in some of them, and they listened. I think they realized
Yeah,
it.
that definitely helped. It'd be nice
So
if they
you-
go
you-
back
you
to just
feel-
a weekend.
I was going to
though.
say, and so they sent the deer survey
Yeah,
out,
I just filled it out
and
yesterday.
it seemed to me that they're listening again. I think that they're wanting to shorten. This is my opinion. I think they're wanting to shorten the gun season now because that was one of the big
I
topics they
love
had
it.
on there.
Love it.
I would be glad if
So
it
I-
just had to
I
1
asked
2
him
days
to-
of
So
gun season. and be
anybody's
done.
listening to this that gets the email from DNR,
Fill it out, please.
yes, put your opinion on there because I think they do listen to what we're saying.
Yeah, I asked him the same thing last night, so I know his answer. Say you're in total control of the Indiana DNR, and you had to set up the gun season. How would you set it up?
Well, gun season wouldn't be till probably Thanksgiving weekend. Thanksgiving weekend. It's a big
It
ass
does.
time. I'd go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's the only gun season we had, and then I'd go a late muzzleloader for
December.
like the weekend before Christmas,
Yeah.
For how long?
for
Like
just the weekend.
just weekend?
Saturday and
So
Sunday.
like a 6-day
You have
total
6
gun
day
season?
total gun
Love
season,
it.
but leave bow season from October 1st. Hell, make it bow season from September 1st to January 1st. It
And
don't
that
make no
was-
difference
that was one
if
of the
you're only
things
allowed
that-
to kill 1
Yeah,
buck. I
absolutely.
mean, that gives people an opportunity to kill
Right.
velvet too. You
Yep,
know,
for sure.
And the older people get out there and hunting in the warmer weather and things of that nature. So it don't make no difference if it's from September, starts in September, or starts in October.
Right.
It's
If you're
still 1 buck.
it's still 1 buck, right? So and and all these people that like to go hunt and like to be out there, it gives them another reason to be out there, and might appeal to more people that way too.
Now, last year's survey, it was something about
Velvet.
starting season in September, so you'd have a chance.
They were gonna do like a weekend.
Yeah, but it wasn't on there for any questions or talk this year
No.
on there, so I don't
So
know what
most
happened
people
with that.
must have shot that down pretty quickly.
I mean, that's one of the reasons we go to Kentucky. Me and
Absolutely.
Adam and Birch and,
Yeah.
and Butcher. That's the whole purpose. Really, is going down. Well, I mean, having a good time. But when we go down there on Labor Day weekend or whatever, we got a legitimate
kill
chance of
something.
killing
Yeah.
velvet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was your buck velvet or no?
Yeah.
My big one wasn't. The 9 that I killed was full velvet.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The 9. Yep.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, and everybody has different when it comes to that, I would do like the first week in December. Like just do a week, 7 days, that's it. You know how many times I've talked about it on length on here, but that second week or even the first week in November to the third week in November, man, rut, man, it's hitting hard. And how many of those deer that are rutting that hard are running through a field and just getting destroyed by the first gun that's
Oh
sitting
yeah.
there? You know
That's
what I mean?
one thing I think as Indiana as a whole is we need to get rid of is get away from that opening weekend that we have.
Yeah,
Even if
absolutely.
you push it back a week.
That's what. So
Even if you push that back a week, it's going to make a huge
A
difference.
lot of bucks are going to survive and get the breed.
I seen the total of deer that was killed this year, with the deer numbers down for tags. Like you only allowed to kill a couple per county.
Right.
We still had one of the biggest large kills,
Yeah.
and that's not what we're wanting.
That's because we're one of the only places that allow gun hunting.
That
Yeah.
long.
During the
What is it,
rut.
3
And
weeks?
so deer population's the worst we've seen it in years, and we just had record kills this year. And so okay, that's even going to hurt us even more.
Probably had finding record dead ones.
Oh,
from the
I would
EHD.
say I'd say 4 years ago was probably maybe one, and this year was probably we found that dead one this year.
Yeah.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I was thinking it was closer to a road, but actually it was right by a creek,
Yeah. It was probably
Yeah.
200 to 300 yards from a road.
and it was laying next to a creek.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's where I found one at Mom's this year when I took a guy to look at getting it logged. We found a dead doe down in the creek. So I found 2 without trying. And in the years past, 4 years ago, I think it was, I found 12 dead in the river kayaking, and I went looking for them. I didn't even want to do it. Like, it's depressing. I wouldn't even want to
for
look
sure.
for them.
So to go back on your 2022 season, it sucked. You came out deerless, or did you kill a doe or so?
So I took Grandpa hunting, and we trying to get him a deer. Like he's 86 years old now.
That's
you know what I mean?
awesome, man.
So we went there in muzzleloader
Purdue
season.
fan.
Oh yeah, no, Grandpa, no, don't say that.
Let him listen to this.
No. He's not happy about that. You know, he's a big IU fan, but no. So in late muzzleloader, you know, I took Grandpa. I concentrated all muzzleloader season just taking Grandpa because my grandmother just passed away in August, and he was having a hard time, and really concentrated in muzzleloader trying to get him a deer, and we went to the spot, and I'd been seeing 7, 8 does every day, and you know I'm kind of contradicting myself here with the whole doe kill, but you know when you're 87, you know this goes back to being a kid. You know,
Absolutely.
a kid dropped one, but Grandpa's 87. He's put in the time and the effort, you know. And he's like, I'd really like to kill another deer, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna get you one.
It's
right?
all happened.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And so we went, and he shot, missed. I handed him my gun. He shot. He missed. It's like, oh man, you know, and he was down. Like, he was down, down. And he's like, I'm just done. I can't shoot no more. I can't do this no more. And we're looking for blood and seen some hair, and them does come back out, and you know, I thought, man, Grandpa's down.
Right.
You know, so I pulled up on one and I dropped that thing. You know,
Got him back in the game.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, hot damn, you dropped that thing. That's exactly what he said. He said, hot damn, you dropped that thing. And I said, yeah. He goes, heck yeah. And, you know, and he got, you know, that brightened his day. And then so we waited a couple of days, and I took him back out there, and we were fortunate enough that he put the hammer down on one, and that couple of days later, and he dropped it too, and he gave me the old hot damn again, you know, and
the coolest is with the trail cam. You can see the smoke coming out
Oh,
of the
yeah.
blind
Yeah.
with the doe
Yeah.
coming through there.
I forgot all about that.
Smoke City.
Yeah, so that was, I guess I said I had a bad season, but if I look at the bigger picture,
Yeah.
it was
absolutely.
a great season. You know, because you don't know how many seasons you have left for people like that.
Absolutely.
You know, and I'll treasure those for lifetimes. You know.
Yeah, I went down to Kentucky turkey hunting 4 or 5 years ago. My grandpa lives down there. He's 71, 72 years old. And I talked him into going turkey hunting with me. And we sat there, and we had this hen. We was sitting from me to that chair, and that hen walked right between us. You know, and she ended up going past us and everything. He's like, man, that was the coolest thing I ever seen yet. It was just cool to experience that with my grandpa, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
I didn't kill anything
I don't
that
want to
trip
kill.
down there. Yeah, I didn't kill anything that trip down there, but it was funny. I probably hunted, I don't know, a half mile or so from where they stay, and I shot one of my biggest birds down there. And I had an old 10 gauge that I used. And he goes, I could have swore I heard it go off. I was sitting here pacing back and forth, waiting for you to get back. He said, when I seen you pull in, I knew you had one. Those stories are kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite story, well, not one of my favorites. I got a bunch with Grandpa Kenny, but he killed one. I think I was with him and helped him get it and everything. And I didn't hear from him a few days, and he went and picked it up, and he called me and was telling me that he may get divorced. I was like, what's going on, Kitty? And he said, well, I got the whole thing made in summer sausage.
Oh yeah, it was like $600 or something.
And she was so mad at him. He didn't realize it was going to be that much.
Yeah.
It was over 400. I know that.
Yeah, it was a lot for
That's
sure.
probably the one thing I miss right now when it comes to the deer season. You know, back growing up, man, we'd kill one or multiple people would kill one in a weekend. Sunday nights of that weekend, usually opening weekend, or I'm more gun hunted back then in the day.
Oh, yeah,
but everybody would bring their deer over. We'd hang it up in the garage watching.
You don't
football.
see hunting deer anymore, man.
No, everybody wants to take it in, and
The
I'm
locker's kind of making them have to hang them because they're getting so full. I mean, if you shorten that gun season, the locker probably thank them.
Yeah, so that doe I killed
'Cause
this
you know
year.
how
I
many
skinned
people-
that thing out myself.
Yeah, you know, people come from 45. Like
Yeah.
I was talking to a guy. Actually, in my new job, I was talking to him, and he said he drove 45 minutes to go to the locker just to find out that they wasn't taking anymore because he's not friends with them on Facebook. And I was like, you know how many people that do that, like drive a ways because there ain't too many meat lockers around.
No, there's only a few you can really go to.
Yep.
But I miss just that, you know, hanging it up in the garage, drinking beer, watching the Colts game or whatever's on TV, and assembly line going, somebody's cutting, somebody's packaging, grinding. I just miss that whole little aspect. We might have to start hanging deer up in the garage.
Putting the back straps out that night and frying them up that night.
Slicing them up,
Oh,
throw
yeah.
around on the grill.
Closest thing we do to that is Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
We never processed anything like that. My uncle came from the city and came out, but he liked to hunt, and that's who I kind of got going with. And it was straight to the locker. We never.
You say that. I skinned that one out that I killed that
Yeah.
day that I killed this year, and Clint came over and
The butcher.
yeah,
The
he
butcher.
showed up. I sent our group message, sent a picture, and dude, it wasn't 5 minutes later. He's pulling in my driveway,
With a
got his
knife
knife
in
in
his-
hand in his pocket. And me and him were sitting there just starting to go to work at it, you know. And I really
Enjoyed it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really did. I
Now, do you have a
enjoyed it.
grinder or?
No, I deboned it and everything. Then I took that meat to the locker.
Yeah.
They're making a killing. I mean, how much do you think they make on a year?
Oh man, I don't even know.
I mean, they literally quit processing beef and hogs to
Do deer.
just strictly do
Yeah.
deer. You know, that's a pretty big commitment, but it's got to be a pretty good little chunk of change.
yeah, it's a good chunk of change, but at the same time, they bring in extra people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like there's more to it. Like they're spending more money as well.
Thank you for skinning my deer, Travis. I know Travis listens to us on here.
Yeah. I think that I was talking to Gorman, and I guess Bryce was working down there.
Yeah, Bryce
during
Gorman's
that
there
time.
now. Yep.
That's pretty
So-
cool.
So
I think
good. The high school kids were down there getting some work in.
I would have liked doing it when I was in high school. We're having a little job, you know, in the fall or something. If they needed some help,
Yeah.
I would have done
No, I'm thinking about it.
I'd have done it just
Dylan
to be
can
in
walk there.
it. Yeah, Dylan could walk to work.
He wouldn't get much done. He'd be just taking pictures of racks and sending them to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, have us all fired up, ready to leave work
Yeah.
at noon.
Yep.
All right, so the main reason, I wouldn't say the main reason, I wouldn't say that, but
Okay, the reason.
one of the biggest reasons we wanted to have Randy on the podcast is this absolute giant behind him. I know people that are listening are like, man, I can't see it, but it's the picture of the deer he's holding on the YouTube thumbnail, but I got to hear the story behind this thing.
Yeah, well, it's a couple year story.
That's
you
Yeah,
know?
even
that's
better. Let's
what-
hear it.
And so I guess it all started in 2019. No, 2020. Yeah, it all started in 2020 when all this shit started, right? But I got a picture of a buck that I didn't know at the time was him, obviously, that I was hunting. I got a picture of him and the buck that Jesse killed that year. And those were the two bucks that I was hunting. And this buck came through and I actually shot him with my bow. I think it was the Thursday before gun season came in. I shot him with my bow and I hit him high. Came in, hit him high, hit him right below the spine, just kind of in that
No man.
no man's land.
yeah.
And I was using slick tricks at that time, and I didn't get any penetration. You know, using my old bow at the time.
Well,
didn't
don't
get-
crack on the bow tag.
And,
It's the placement.
you know, and it was a bad shot. It was on me. It was totally on me.
It
And,
happens,
and
especially on something like
I
that.
tracked him. I tracked him for 200 yards and found two drops of blood, and it was nowhere. Like so,
Just nothing.
yeah. Didn't get him. Didn't see him the rest of the year. Never got a picture of him again the rest of the year. And then that buck that Posey killed that year, he showed up after that, and you know, I was really chasing after that one, and you know, obviously he got that one, and then so that year was kind of a wash, right? So moving on to 2021, and I get a picture of this buck in late October. And so, you know,
It didn't show up till late
They didn't
October?
show late up till like October. And, you know, I was saying earlier, you know, late October, I get a picture, I'm going
Yeah.
in, you know. So
Right.
I start hunting, right? I start putting my time in. I'm getting out there and going. I get a picture of him every once in a while, but most of the time it's at night. And then so the Friday before gun season comes in, I'm sitting there Friday morning, Friday evening, I'm sitting there and I get a picture of him leaving where I was hunting. And I'm like, dang, you know, crap, he's going that way. So I was like, all right, well, I'm coming back here in the morning, gonna have my gun in hand, you know. So I'm sitting there and it's about, I don't know, it's about 10 o'clock, probably 9 o'clock. I get a picture of him coming in. On the same camera, I get a picture of him coming to me, right?
Nice.
He's coming to me now. So I'm like, okay, now I'm on high alert. You know, I'm
Right. You'd have
sitting
to
here
be.
looking, and it's actually over my right shoulder, and I'm sitting here looking, and it's probably, I don't know, 400 or 500 yards from that camera, but it's the ridge, and it's, you know, tall, thick, whatever, and never comes, and then 2 hours later, I got to get down because my boys got a basketball game that morning. You know, obviously can't miss that because then you got
sure.
wife's not happy because I skipped the basketball game because I got a big buck coming. You know, she don't care. You know, so I had to get down, right? So I got down, and I have some more cameras down there by my stand. Game gets over, and I go back out, and I'm like, okay, I know that buck is between me and that camera. Like he has to be. Like he can't. He's either got a doe in here, he's bedded down. So I'm like, I was 100% confident he was between me and that camera. So I went and sat around on the other side, took my chair in a power tower. You know, got in the weeds or whatever.
That's awesome.
Yep, and I'm sitting there all set up. I'm like, he's got to come from right here. Like I'm sitting there telling myself he's right there. Like I'm looking at him. I don't know it, but I'm looking at him. You know, and I hadn't been there an hour, and here comes a doe bust out, and here comes a buck that busts out. And of course, my first instinct is that's him. That's him. Yeah. You know. So I pull up, and I'm like looking through my scope, and I'm like, that's not him. You know what I mean? It's a nice deer, but like that's not him.
Got the heart pumping quick.
So now I'm like, okay, so 10 minutes has passed, and he ain't came out either. So now I'm like, crap.
No,
like he's gone. You know what I mean? Like he's busted out and gone. You know, and it wasn't sure enough. Here comes that doe comes out again. And that buck comes out again. They go back down the ridge, but then here he comes up over a ridge right at me. I mean, right at me. And at first, I don't think it's him because I think it's just that other buck, right? Like I've already seen him twice. Right. And he just steps over that ridge, and he turns around and he goes to walk away, and I'm like,
that's it.
I get on my scope, and I'm like, oh, that, you know, crap, you know. So I'm sitting there, I'm ready. He's walking away, and then all of a sudden he turns around and walks right back and starts looking down the ridge, right? He's looking down there because that's where that buck and the doe, right? He's sitting there looking at it. And I was like, well, now or never. And I think it was 256 yards is what I'd ranged it at. And like it's now or never because he's going to bust down there and start chasing, and who knows where they're going to go. And, you know, luck prevailed. I squeezed the trigger, and he dropped right where he stood, you know. And,
wow.
And at that time, I didn't know this was the buck that I had shot with my bow from the year before, because the year before that buck was a 150-inch deer. This buck is 187. You know what I mean? Like, so we're me and a buddy of mine, Mike Kraft, and my dad. I load him up. I don't got him there. I load him up, take him to another guy or to another field we have, and I got him there where I don't hunt, and we're gutting, and my dad's like, "Damn, something just poked me." I said, here's your bullet, because my bullet didn't pass through. Dad's like, here's your bullet. And I'm like, no way. He's like, yeah, it's sharp, poked me. So I slid it right there, you know, and cut his skin open, and sure enough, it was my bullet. And so rolling back over, go back to gutting, and my dad's like, damn it. I'm like, what now? He's like, something just poked me again. And I go, well, it must have been a bone or something. He's like, no, it's hard. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm not kidding. Mike Kraft looks at it, and he's like, yeah, there's something right here. So I rolling back over, I go to cutting on it, and as soon as I start cutting on it, I knew instantly. I was like, this is a broadhead. And then it all just kind of went off in my head. I'm like, and I told my dad and told Mike, I was like, if this is a slick trick broadhead, this is mine. This is mine. Because I was like, it's the right side, would have been in there, you know what I mean? Like I started doing everything, I already played it out. I said, now this is a slick trick. This is the buck I shot. That's
a wild.
I cut it out, and sure enough, man, I pulled that broadhead out, and it was like brand new. Like you could use it today. It never rusted, never nothing. Damn. It grew over, like you couldn't tell nothing. And sure enough, it was the buck that I had shot with my bow last year, and you know he'd growed 37
inches.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if he's exactly 150, but that's what I was personally scoring him as 150. He wasn't bigger than that.
He put on 30 inches at least.
I mean, that's a perfect example of you talking about, like, just the area we're in with genetics and everything like that. He had a broadhead close to his spine, and he hits 187.
It wasn't 2 inches from his spine.
That's wild.
I mean, it was not 2 inches from his spine. And
I had the same thing happen with that one back there when I skinned him out. I found a mechanical broadhead in his back. I have no idea who shot him, but they didn't do the job because I killed him with a gun shortly afterwards.
You walk around with a broadhead in your back for a year. You're gonna be cut all to
Yes,
pieces.
my wife, I cry enough. I couldn't.
Right, me
imagine
too.
that.
But like that thing, how's that thing even? How's that even possible?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of the rundown on that deal. Is I shot that buck the year before with my bow. Didn't know, after that, and ended up killing the year after and put on
Man, that's
30
just,
some.
That's a wild
inches.
story.
it's just amazing that your biggest buck has one of the best stories. I mean, what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's even just adds
Oh, for
bonus
sure.
points to it.
Multiple years with the
Yeah.
deer, the history. You hit him with the broadhead, and it's a wild story for sure.
Yeah.
So what's the official score and all that?
So he grossed 187, and then he netted at 183.
I'll say 187 from now on instead of writing that 183.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 187 sounds way better.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he missed the Boone and Crockett by 2 inches.
And he made the all-time county, right?
Yeah, as right now, the day that we scored him, he's in the top 10 ever killed in this county.
That's
I think he was
absolutely awesome.
8th. I think it was.
That's awesome, man, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's pretty blessed because most how many people hunt that
Right.
never even lay
Oh,
eyes
lifetime.
on one like that, let alone being able to being able to harvest one like that is
Yep.
Dream come
his
true,
luck
for
and
sure.
a blessing. And at that day I killed him, man. I sat there for an hour with him.
Oh, I guarantee.
I never
you,
called
would've-
nobody, never texted nobody. I literally sat there with him. Hell, I probably cried. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
I just sat there with him.
I would
and,
have cried too. I'd cried when I shot him.
I thanked him probably 10 times. I mean, he's dead, but I thanked him, man, for the memories. It's just like, everybody wants to kill that one. That's definitely. I mean, he's a buck of a lifetime. Am I ever gonna beat that? No. But
Never know.
He's got one on camera. Can do it next year.
His new nickname's gonna be Chasing 200 because
Well,
you're gonna do it one of these days. I got a feeling.
Well, I'm telling you, the one he's got on camera, it's a secret. It's in Ohio County. But if it puts on 30, he's go like this deer did.
What's that
It's
one
on
old
hit
boy
200.
that uses the blood moon thing? What's that
yeah.
called? Club 200?
Team
or-
200.
Yeah.
Team 200.
that's
That's what he
Birch's
is.
buddy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, there's something.
Adam Hayes.
Yeah.
I've never figured out the moon thing, or whatever. But the dude's killed some absolute giants. You know what I mean?
Now, Randy, I know how I am. I'm going to ask how you are. So after you drove your truck right to that deer and loaded him up. It was no dragging.
Mm-hmm.
You took him around, showed him off. Was you? I know just a few places. Was you straight exhausted when you got home? Because my nerves make me like I've been
No,
up for 24
My
hours.
adrenaline
I wasn't
does
because
Yes.
I was so. I guess I was more relieved,
Yeah.
right? Like I was more relieved. I felt like the pressure was off of me, the stress was off of me. Of finally
That's what's crazy,
connecting
is
with
we
that
put-
deer the lifetime deer that we all
Oh, yeah.
try to get after, and now that I got that, it's I guess it just relaxed more,
Yeah.
I only took it to a certain few places.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that night. I was this close to being asleep on the couch. Feel the phone go off. Look at Adam. Hey, what are you doing? I'm getting ready to go to sleep. What's up? You might want to open your garage and come outside. I was like, I'd be there in a minute. And you guys were out there. And I'll never forget seeing that deer in the back of that truck. That was an absolute.
That's the first night I met you.
No shit.
Yeah, that's the first night I met you. But yeah, that was
He was short bodied too, wasn't he? Or was he not?
no.
He
He
was
took up.
long-bodied.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
very long. He took up my whole bed of my truck.
Justin killed a 150s and like 160s last year because he was allowed to kill 2. And one of them wasn't really fit in his bed of his truck. The other one, which I don't know if it was the bigger or the smaller, that thing just took up half the truck. Like it was a short body, looked like a pig body. Like it was short, stocky.
Little donkey.
It was amazing. It did. It was just a
Little swamp
totally
donkey.
different body.
Yeah, so that night I came here and then I took him to our buddy Clint's and then
Yep.
I went over to I think it was Jenkins's and then the next morning I took him all the way up there to Birch's and
Had a jello shot.
Had a jello
yeah,
shot.
Jello shot at 10:30 in the morning. He's sitting there waiting for me with the Jello shot. He's like, we take a picture with
Oh,
it and
yeah.
everything. He was just as jacked up for me as I think.
If
I
I'd have
was.
killed that, I'd have did a whole case.
And
of
so
jello
was
shot.
Clint. You know what I mean? Clint
Oh,
was
for
like,
sure.
man, that's awesome. And I guess I guess our buddy Clint, he's kind of the next
So,
one in line to
he-
get a big one. You know.
He's the next one in line. He's the next one to be in this chair.
Yeah.
He hunts
sure.
a total of 15 times a year, but this year I gave it to him.
He put in some time,
He
yes,
put
he
some
did.
time
But he
in
had
it.
some nice deer on camera
He did.
too. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
he
Like
did.
he was hunting for He was hunting for some select deer in this new property.
The best story I have is obviously he killed that morning. On video, it's the highlight of something me and him have been trying to do for a couple of years. We're jacked up, we're drinking beers. He said, "Boys, I'm going back out." Like, awesome, dude, get back after it. His phone rings. He goes, "Dude, I think Clint killed one." Clint's in that, and he said it wasn't the biggest deer of his life or whatever, but he had fun doing it. So we come up the hill, we got beers in hand. We're like, "Where's it at? You excited?" He goes, "I'm so more excited now that you guys showed up to help me drag this thing. We're doing it. Let's go find him." And it was just cool how it all played out. How he got the bobcat out and took it back up. It was just.
We didn't even drag it.
No,
he made his own path.
Yeah,
for sure.
He wasn't dragging. Clint's not dragging nothing. No. He's not. He'll butcher any deer you got,
and
he ain't dragging nothing.
I've never seen someone take a bobcat and scoop it up, drive it to the truck, and dump it. Like, we didn't even touch it.
Like take a gravel into the truck.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. It was that whole week, man. I killed Monday, he killed Friday, Clint killed Friday, my buddy Ryan, to help me start all this, killed Saturday. It was like, man, I'm glad I took this week off of work because I don't think I could have handled it any other way.
Well, and then when Randy killed his big one, it was the year of Kincaid sending pictures of his giant to me and all of us, and we didn't kill any. Well, Birch probably did because he kills one every year. But me and Clint, you may have killed a dink as usual. I mean, but we didn't kill
any. A big one on my wall. See it?
So, so we didn't kill any. So we had a year and a half of getting a picture from Randy about once every week and a half of his big one.
Yeah, still do.
And so this year, Birch killed, you killed, Butcher killed. Yeah. Randy didn't, so it was a little bit of shit talking back at him.
But I guess I don't put that pressure on myself as far as killing one every year because I know there's a good chance that I'm not.
Yeah,
now our buddy Birch, like, it's a job for him. Like,
it's live or die.
It's like if he doesn't, like, he is going to go through depression.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not that way. Because I know I've set my standards so high that that's probably not going to happen. But the time that does, if I text you guys in the group chat and then I tell you I got one, everybody's probably going to go,
hope he didn't shoot a slick trick.
Yeah, hope he didn't use slick tricks. I don't know more. He's rage.
There you go.
After this year, you're gonna use exact archery, right?
Yeah. Bert's probably gonna get me onto something like that too.
So, what about plans for 2023? Got any plans? How you think it's gonna play out?
Well, obviously, I think I got $2 to hunt for next year. And who knows what comes in, right?
Yeah.
But
EHD could play effect again.
We might find him dead cutting beans or something, But the same, just don't. I ain't gonna change nothing. Just keep doing the same thing we always do, and hopefully go down to Kentucky and kill velvet. That
we do need to go back there. I feel like that whole muzzleloader thing we had set up for that one weekend. I was looking so forward to that.
Oh, we all were.
Birch was going to use my muzzleloader. Yeah. I had it all packed up and stuff.
It was all jacked up, ready to go, and you're like, "Hey guys, I don't think it comes in this weekend."
You might want to look at this again because
we were hours away from leaving.
It is Kentucky though. We could have got away with it.
We were hours away from leaving, and you're like, "I don't think it comes in." And I looked at it, and I'm like, "No, it don't. It's next weekend."
Yeah. I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good. I'm glad I kind of stumbled upon that. I'm glad I looked for myself, even though I'm not the one that had a license.
Yeah.
Our research king let us down on that one.
Yeah, Birch. Where you at?
Damn it, Birch. Now, I got one last question for you. As far as whitetail hunting goes, dream whitetail hunt?
Definitely Kansas. And I think there's a lot of public ground in Kansas,
I believe Kansas is a draw state too for
non-residents. There's definitely a draw, and it's probably something that you got to get points and stuff to do. And I guess would be my Iowa or Kansas, but I think Iowa's mostly private ground. And
it is, but
it's locked up by all the big time hunters.
There's a ton of public in Iowa, and what I was going to say when you followed up with this is last year I put in my first points for Iowa for their preference points. You guys did this Kentucky hunt for going on 12 years. I think we should all start buying. You guys should all start buying Iowa tags. And if we draw Iowa at the same time, I'm a year ahead of you, but I wouldn't I would just wait an extra year.
You know, I would probably be up for that. I didn't know you did that. So yeah, I would probably, and I know Clint would do it too.
I
And
believe it's May
sure Birch would
1st
do it too.
to
We should all
June
do it
1st.
too.
There's like a month period where you get your point, put in for your point, and then it's about a 5-year wait depending on what zone there is. But then you pick what zone, and you have to pay for the license, even though you may not get drawn. And if we all did it at the same time, we might got to get drawn. We could go rent a house over there for a week or something to go. That would be badass.
that would be. And by that time, you'd have a couple kids out of the house by then. You know, you wouldn't have 12 kids.
True.
But yeah.
Now, is Kansas Milk River?
No, that's Montana.
Yeah,
Montana.
Yeah.
I remember just growing up, Milk River.
Milk River.
Roger
Roger Ragland.
Yeah,
You'd see Roger Ragland down there.
David Blanton on Realtree.
Yeah.
They all the Realtree guys went out there.
Yep, for sure. A lot of them shows, man.
Oh, I watched some the other day. It took me back. It was back when T-Bone was on there with the cut in the bill that he had, and he was on there with Jeff Foxworthy and stuff. It was pretty cool to watch some of the old ones.
My favorite
But
girl.
man, if you go back and watch them, the deer they killed that we thought were big, they
Ain't no big, yeah.
But you
right,
swore back
he was,
then
he
they
was
were
making
giants.
TV then. They were making
Yes.
TV then. Yeah,
It was
for
a
sure.
whole different ball game. Let's say for deer content back then. You know, there wasn't podcasts, there wasn't YouTube. It was just like those select
Real
shows
tree.
that was on. Because my favorite growing up was North American Whitetail
Bushman,
with Stan Potts and
Yeah.
Dave
Yeah.
Miller.
Oh, man.
That dude gets
Greg
excited.
Just
now.
watching Stan Potts kill.
Hold on, folks. I got to calm down.
And he's killed like
I gotta
four
take a
200s.
minute. Yeah.
I got to take a minute here, folks. It was
And he always looks away when he's doing it. He's like, and he always takes a deep breath.
Yep.
Folks, I tell you now,
but
that don't get you fired up.
Oh, I love it, man.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I feel like a lot of whitetail content has really switched roles. That's not a big thing anymore. People don't like watching the Outdoor Channel. For one, they probably ain't going to pay for the prescription or the subscription on their TV for it. These YouTubers, man, it's really fun to
Making a
watch
kill.
some of them do it.
Oh, yeah.
The
what
whole
they're
hunting
doing.
public and stuff.
Oh, they're killing the game.
That's,
I mean,
that's awesome. I watch that stuff all the time.
Absolutely. He watches it when he goes to bed.
That's
That's what he
every
falls
day of the
asleep
year.
to.
I go to bed YouTube. It's not. I mean, you name a YouTube hunting video, I guarantee you I've seen it.
Right. I like the one that you turned me on to, the Have Bow Will Travel.
Yeah, that
Love
dude's a
watching that guy, man.
This dude's a nut. You have to watch him. I think he's
Wonder
from
where-
West Virginia. I think.
West Virginia. I'd like to get him
But
on
he'll
here.
travel anywhere and everywhere, and he's us. Like he's like, shit, drops his buck, you know, like shit, left my release in the truck, and he's cussing on her. But he does some good stuff. There's one of them where he kills a good buck, and he takes his four-wheeler back to it, and he rolls that four-wheeler like 3 times. He's lost a camera during this. He's lost all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But dude, I mean, he sets the video up, and okay, we'll go up this ridge. So he tries getting a good angle of him coming up it. Well, he videos him flipping that four-wheeler with a deer on it, dude, just rolling.
Oh shoot, that's funny.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Man, I appreciate you coming on here, man. It's super cool. I wish I had some more mics and a different setup for us, but hopefully everybody can hear and see us okay. But man, it was super cool having you on here. I'm glad you came and did it finally.
No, I really appreciate the offer. I wish I'd have done it earlier, but
A lot more fun than you thought it'd be.
yeah, it was. And at the time, I guess I didn't really know you that well. But I've watched a lot of your shows. I've watched a lot of your content, and I've seen that you're really trying to make a deal out of it.
Yeah.
You're really putting in the effort and really trying to do it for the right reasons,
Right.
and really doing a good job at it. So
I appreciate that.
being able to be a part of it is if I could help was the least I could do. And it's a good way to thank my sponsor, Butcher Excavating. If you can see, you got to get them. Craft Lawn Services, Ross Lawns Landscaping. Give them guys a shout.
Yeah, there you go. So we'll end with this. When are you gonna let me film you?
Oh well.
It's okay. I'll just fucking with you. I'll just fuck with you.
He said he's gonna start turkey hunting. You can do it then.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Hey,
That's
Kentucky.
it. There you go.
Kentucky. The whole filming thing.
You did it before.
I've done it before. It's just now. I guess I enjoy hunting by myself sometimes.
I don't blame you. There's
Like, it's
times
just-
I like enjoying hunting
Yeah,
by myself.
Brett's a coughing son of a bitch. I
And
know
then-
what
Oh,
you mean.
what the-
And then but there's not to say that there won't be a day or two where we could sneak out there and
It'd be cool.
get in a climber.
Even even like me taking you to my spot. Hey, I got this set up. Been seeing this deer. Let's go after him. You know what I mean?
So does he want 50s?
He can be.
Because I ain't going if he ain't.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that's the thing. I like hunting with other people, but like, so I went one day with Birch this year, and it was fun, but like I felt bad, like if one would have walked out, you know what I mean? Because I know how much he
Shoot
puts
the
into
biggest
it,
deer.
and I know he would have been happy as hell if I'd have killed one.
Well,
But in the back of my mind, I'd have been like, man, you know what I mean?
Right.
Would I feel that happy if, he did that at my place, And
Right.
I think I would.
I would.
But if
I
it would
think I
have been
would.
that one, just like that year he had that 250-inch deer,
Yeah.
he wasn't taking
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Don't even talk to me about
Don't
it.
even ask.
But I think it's changed for our group. I mean, over the years, it used to be like, yeah, you can come to my place.
Yeah.
God, I hope he don't shoot one. I hope he don't.
Well,
shoot
now
one.
you got kids that hunt
but
too.
now, but now you're like,
Man, I hope he shoots
I hope he
one.
shoots one.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, for
you know,
sure.
we've matured.
Oh, yeah.
that way.
Oh,
I
for
keep
sure.
waiting on my phone, waiting for you guys to kill one, because I'm like, I'm probably not killing one. So, guys, hurry up, Clint. You know what I mean? I'm texting Clint. Clint's like, "Oh, I'm in. It's cold." I went back to the house to eat breakfast.
Well, it was funny. So when I shot mine, I wasn't gonna say this earlier, but Clint's like, I'm shooting the first one I see tonight.
Yeah.
And later on, I told Brett, I was like, he's the kind of guy.
He's
does
gonna do it.
He's gonna do
Yeah,
it.
you take
and
his-
it was a couple hours later, bucked down. I was like, told you.
his word is golden. Yeah, his word is golden. He's about as good as a guy as
Oh,
anybody
absolutely.
will meet.
Yep.
He's up next. We got to get him in here.
Yeah,
next. It'll be
yeah.
fun.
I'll be here when he's on. I'll be over there in the chair, but I'll be here.
No, it'd be fun. Well, everybody, I appreciate you listening, or if you're watching on the YouTube and all that kind of stuff. But go check us out. Go check these YouTube videos out. We keep talking about Adam killing a 130 day before gun season. Ryan killed a 140 opening morning of gun season. It was fun that we all got on camera there for a little bit. But go check us out, and you guys enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks, Randy.